I, Too, a poem by Langston Hughes. I, too, sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, but I laugh and I eat well, and I grow strong. Tomorrow, I will be at the table when company comes. Nobody will dare say to me, eat in the kitchen. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am, and they'll be ashamed. I too, am America.
They have split North Carolina A&T into separate districts.
The mother of Ahmaud Arbery.
Overnight, nationwide unrest following the death of George Floyd.
The reason why young people, millennials, Gen Zers are in these streets is not because they're filled with rage, it's because they're filled with righteousness.
What the Unitarian Church gave these protesters here in Louisville, Kentucky. Give me a sanctuary. There's a storm out on the ocean, and it's moving this way. If your soul is not anchored in justice, you will surely drift away. Graham, what do we want? And when do we want it?
Wow, that was a dope video that speaks to the work of J4TNG and our pastor, Greg Drumwright, who has made headlines as being today's voice for tomorrow's generation. Ladies and gentlemen, and everybody, we would like to welcome you. But before I do that, I want to introduce you to some guests that are going to be with us today. Jory, Terrence, come on in. How you doing? What's going on, boss? It's good to see you, man. Definitely. So, right here, I have my sister Jory Edwards. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about you, brother?
Good. And Terrence, how are you doing, boss?
I'm well. I appreciate it. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. So Jory is a micro. Can you explain?
Let me
say
just
it.
tell it for you,
Look,
'cause I know
y'all, it's hard to say.
lot.
Go ahead, say it for me.
So I am a molecular microtechnologist. So I give you the results for COVID, whether you got it or not.
Look, can you say? We can say COVID 5 times fast. Can you say that 5 times fast? Molecular micro technology.
Yes.
5 times fast. I can't say it, but thank you for being with us today.
Of course.
And offering everything that you will on today's version of Live at 5. And Terrence, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm well.
Good. Can you tell the people what you do, boss?
I'm a transmission operator for armed forces, so I just make equipment talk to each other.
So we got so many. We got the spectrum here. Okay. We got myself. Y'all know I'm a teacher, right? We got a scientist.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
a scientist. And then we have a brother that is dedicated to helping the work of our country. So we just want to say again, welcome everyone for being with us. Thank you so much. You know, the J4TNG started around the breakfast table in May of 2020, right? Last year. It's almost been a year, y'all, when our timelines were outraged by the leaked video showing 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery being hunted and slaughtered by the McMichaels in a Trump-touting Georgia community for jogging while black. Look, this is something that has been heavy in our spirits, right?
For sure.
And especially in the black community. But before we went down there, a lot of us here really didn't know who Ahmaud Arbery was.
Yeah, it was like some months after the murder that we really started, hearing the bells ring about it. And so that kind of bothered me too. Like, they were trying to put a cap on it or, be real hush mouth about it. And you can't hide things like that. So that definitely disappointed me as well.
Well, before we get into any more explanation about Ahmaud Arbery, y'all check out this video.
So we are driving up on the actual street where the lynching of Ahmaud Arbery occurred. We're coming around this corner, and this is the exact site of Ahmaud's last moments. And this was the scene of his struggle with the two gentlemen, while a third sat in the truck filming the incident. Consequently, where he took his last breath.
Some people during this time may have been able to keep scrolling on Instagram, Twitter, but Reverend Drumwright heard the assignment and in act of obedience gathered the crew to carry out a one-time town hall in Brunswick, Georgia. What was supposed to be a regular Live at 5, Terrence, became a movement. Now, just after looking at that video, right, what are your thoughts? How do you feel about, a brother that was gunned down while being black?
Minister Key, it was real disheartening seeing that. Like, when I watched that, and when you look at the whole concept and you see how, and you dig deeper, right? Deeper than the surface, because how Jerry was speaking earlier, we didn't even get any news from it until months after it happened. Mm-hmm. So when you dug deeper and you saw how many people checked out the property that he so allegedly was breaking into, but they chased after him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They didn't even call authorities and then try to, watch him and follow him so they can let the authorities know where he was at.
Yeah.
They just took the law into their own hands. And it was in an unjust manner.
Well, in just 3 days, Miss Wanda and Mr. Marcus and a host of other people who loved Ahmaud will realize the grief from Ahmaud Arbery's case. And there will actually be some procedures that have been enacted or will be enacted in addition to the case for Ahmaud Arbery. They are beginning the deliberation process concerning the state of Georgia. Now, with Ahmaud Arbery, they haven't given us 100% of when the case will start, but I want to say, I'm going to have some notes here, that the Republican governor, Brian Kemp, announced on Tuesday that he would support a plan to reform the state's citizens arrest law. And this citizens arrest law opens the door for certain people, okay, I think it's bodyguards, security guards, business owners, and employees to be able to only hold somebody for an hour, just an hour. So if you're holding them within that hour time frame and the police doesn't come, you got to let them go. And if you don't, then it's going to be a problem. So even, the McMichaels, they were considering what they did based upon a citizen's arrest, right? Because they assumed that he robbed that house.
Right.
And they gunned him down and they slaughtered him. Jordan, you got any thoughts on that?
Most definitely. I see what they're trying to do with the law reform. However, my personal opinion is that there's a gray area, because it's that law that gives people and gives certain citizens, because that law is still going to be biased, just because of fear tactics and stereotypical fear tactics that you have with the black race. You know, people automatically see a black man walking down the street. If he has on street clothes, they assume that, oh my gosh, he's going to rob me, or I'm fearful. And so it's just another even if you're walking in the store and you assume that somebody's stealing, that's going to give them that, okay, I can hold you. But it doesn't take an hour for somebody to die. It doesn't. It takes minutes. It takes seconds. Right. And so, unless you are a trained civilian or a trained civilian or a trained officer or a law of some sort to know how to digress those situations, you know, it's touch and go. I have a lot of young men that I also teach who have lost their lives to gun violence. And so, you know, I think we need to dig deeper to the real issue. Yeah. People taking matters into their own hands is really the problem.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I got you. Well, the McMichaels have already stated, even with the case, you know, even though the trial date hasn't been set, the McMichaels have stated that in the case, they don't want the word victim to be used.
Right.
And then they don't want Ahmaud's family or anybody in the courtroom to have on any Black Lives Matter apparel. Come on now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Come on now. Because they think that it's going to sway the jury in a direction.
I mean, in a sense, you got to call it like it is. If it's a duck and it quack, you know, it's a duck. You know, he was murdered. He was a victim.
He was a black man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a black man. His black life does matter. I think what we have to do is stop trying to make people feel comfortable in their mess, you know, and we try to make them not own up to it. You can't sugarcoat or you can't brush over something like that, you know. You got to admit you was wrong. Maybe you were thinking in the wrong mindset. It was a hate crime. Right. You know,
maybe.
Yeah. Possibly, but you know, justice has to be served. It got to be served.
It was to me. It was. There ain't no maybes in it.
That's it.
Wow.
That's
they
it.
chased him.
Yeah.
They chased him,
They
right?
did.
So I you know, as we move, you know, to our next topic, I just want to just shed light on that, especially with you all, that the trial date has not been set for Ahmaud Arbery. However, the country will continue to run with Ahmaud. So last year they did a big event around the world where people posted on social media, them being able to run with Ahmaud because he was gunned down while he was jogging.
Yeah,
but Run with Ahmaud will continue this year with the Finish the Run event. Okay, so all of my athletes, all the people that think they like to run, that want to walk, you know, if you're an avid walker, a speed walker, right?
Either one.
On February, from February 23rd to March 3rd.
Yep. There we go.
A nonprofit organization called let's see
223 Foundation.
That's it. The 223 Foundation was able to come together, so everybody will be able to run with Ahmaud, and we'll finish the run. They will run 2.23 miles.
Cool.
And all the funds that are raised by this event will go to scholarships. So this is an amazing event for us to continue to run with Ahmaud, so that the world does not forget. A lot of times we've gone through what we would consider the George Floyd summer.
Yeah.
And this summer of social justice, and we forget in the wintertime. So we just want to make sure that we're running with Ahmaud, we're running with Coach Vaughn, we're running with his mother.
Yeah.
And we're making sure that we will continue this movement as the year goes. All right?
That's it. We got to support our people.
So on a lighter note, you know, before we dive back in, you know, I want to talk to you all really briefly about a Black History moment. Now, we know Black History Month has been a big month. It's always a big month for us, but we don't just do Black History for a month. So for everybody that only recognizes Black History for 1 month out the year, you got to stop doing that.
Watch it.
Because we aren't just black for 1 month out the year.
That's right.
Okay. So Black History Month is a big deal around here, and if it wasn't for the ingenuity of our forefathers, life today would be much more difficult. We would have hard times actually getting on elevators.
Okay.
Yeah, I said
taking no steps.
Elevators. As many steps as we had to take. A black man by the name of Alexander Miles patented a mechanism to automate elevator doors in 1887 after his daughter almost took a fatal fall down an elevator shaft.
Wow.
Right, so the elevator doors used to be open. I think it was just a gate before. It was just a gate. You would open the gate. But Alexander Miles said, you know what? Because I have a burden for my daughter and a burden for my people, let me go ahead and invent this and patent this so that we can move forward and put a stint in what black people have done for our country. Also, colleges and universities. Let's talk about that real briefly. Black history has been huge with the colleges and universities around the world. I went to a HBCU.
I went to the illustrious Winston-Salem State University.
Well, since she said it like that,
Yes,
I gotta let
I
you know
did.
that I went to North Carolina A&T. Agricultural and Technical State
And we applaud.
University.
We applaud.
Okay, the best HBCU in the nation.
I don't know about that now.
Okay.
Yeah, Aggie Pride. Thank you.
Okay,
Hey,
okay.
thank
A lot
you.
of commentators in that.
Right. But there's been some mess happening on the PWIs in this nation, predominantly white institutions, for those who do not know, who have been condemning the black community and actually participating in racist actions. So, you know, being that we're not at the university itself, a lot of black history organizations and things are happening via Zoom. Via Microsoft, via Teams, you know, virtual. Virtual.
We got you.
But there are people that are coming into these virtual sessions and doing some crazy things. To be specific, at Rider University, Black History Month, Galentine's Day. I think it's Galentine's.
It's all right. Galentine's.
It was a themed event hosted by two black sororities on February 11th. Was disrupted by several people using fake names who made harassing, racist, and derogatory remarks aimed at black students. Now that's not the only spot, right? We're gonna go through. We're gonna go through New Jersey.
Okay.
It's probably all around, but we have 3 universities that have done this. Rider University, New Jersey Institute of Technology, and Rutgers New Brunswick University. And it says the Rutgers community, but you know we want to make sure that we enlighten the fact that these are happening at some PWIs. That they're coming into these virtual meetings and literally being blatantly racist.
Blatantly.
Now, at your job, let me talk to you real quick.
Okay.
At your job, if you're on a Zoom call, a Zoom presentation. I'm sorry, any virtual presentation, not just Zoom.
Yeah.
We like Zoom.
That's what we do.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you.
But any virtual presentation, and somebody comes on and shows a picture of a black man being hung, how would that be handled? How would you feel, and how would that be handled?
First off, given that, you know, it's at the workplace, it's a place of professionalism. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
And even if it's, you know, a university, you know what I'm saying, you're paying to go to that school, whether it's scholarship or out of your own money. So there's a means of professionalism that should be there.
Right.
So first off, that professionalism goes out the door in the sense that you lose concentration. You know what I'm saying? Now you have to gather yourself back together after seeing something like that, because that's a graphic image. You know what I'm saying? So first off, for me, I really couldn't tell you how I would respond. You know what I'm saying? It's something that I have to be in the moment, but I do know that whether my response, whatever it may be, I would have to gather myself. In regards to how it would be handled, there's, in my workplace, there's zero tolerance for something like that.
Gotcha.
Anything that is taken away or speaking against equal opportunity, there's a zero tolerance.
Well, let me tell you, we speak about zero tolerance and how it would have been handled. You know, I asked, both of us went to HBCUs, but a letter to the Rutgers community written by Rutgers New Brunswick Chancellor Christopher J. Molley said that the university doesn't want to give bigoted individuals a platform by providing details to the incident, but acknowledges the harm done to Black and LGBTQIA members and acknowledges and affirms their pain. Marginalized communities are too often forced to bear such hatred and negativity in spite of it. And moments like this cut and wound people deeply. So I just want to say that, as a leader, they say that they recognize the hurt and the pain without opening the door to being specific about it. We just want to make sure that we let you all know that sometimes PWIs, they move past situations like this in order just to keep pressing. But at the end of the day, we don't want to mask that, and we're not doing it here today on the show. Next up, Black Herstory. I know we used to saying Black History, his story, Black Herstory. Go ahead, Jory, give us a little bit of
So we're going to talk a little about this young lady. Her name is Miss Chauncia and her daughter Avery. I can attest to this because I am this year a social studies teacher. And when I tell you, I get a little frustrated with Black history because I feel like it shouldn't be just labeled as Black history. It's American history. So this mom and her daughter decided to embrace her daughter's love for playing dress up to teach her some Black history. Miss Boyd Rogers shared a couple of teaching moments with her by photographing her as prominent women in Black history. Y'all look at that. Look at her. Okay. This started when she realized this when Ava was just 5 years old. Ava wasn't learning about any Black history things in her school, so her mom took it upon herself to say, hey, you know what? If my daughter's going to learn, she might as well learn at home, right?
Good. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. It has to be taught.
It's got to be taught, and we start them young. So when they get older, we're not raising an ignorant generation.
There you go.
Next up, everybody, here right now, we have some more information on a movement with Chinese Lives Matter.
Yes.
Chinese Lives Matter. We don't really hear that too often.
We don't.
But our brother Christian Hall is a young man who was gunned down by police in Pennsylvania. Y'all check this out.
Did they just shoot? Baby, open your door.
Oh my God!
They didn't shoot him.
Yes, they did.
No way.
Bro.
No way. They just.
On December 30th, 19-year-old Christian Hall was suffering a mental health crisis, and Pennsylvania police officers were called to assist. Instead of helping Christian, officers fatally shot him with his hands raised. I think we can all agree this is not how cops should handle mental health crises, if at all. If you like content like defunding the police, please hit that subscribe button below. Attorneys for the family of a man shot and killed by state police in Monroe County are asking for the state's top cop to investigate the shooting. I want to start my review by saying my condolences to the Hall family. There is a real injustice here. This post is a statement from the day of the alleged murder by PA State Police. Please notice that it is dated the same day he was murdered, which makes me question if they even reviewed the body cam. It also makes me wonder if they conducted a full investigation. The statements read that Hall became, quote, uncooperative and retrieved a firearm and began walking towards the troopers, at which time Hall pointed the firearm in the troopers' directions, end quote. But the video proves nothing of the sort. I saw a man with his hands up in the air, standing there, shot to death. I am left wondering where the body cam footage is and how they are releasing a statement without reviewing it. Thank God for the video. Without it, no one would have known. How many others have there been? If you want to stay up to date on stories like Pennsylvania state troopers shooting Christian Hall, please hit that subscribe button to the right.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, Chinese Lives Matter. What y'all think about that video? That's wild, ain't it?
That is crazy.
Stomach hurt.
He was on the bridge with his hands up.
Yeah, he had his hands up. You know what what's crazy about that is that the cops actually said that they shot. There was a police officer that said that he was pointing his gun at the police, but the video obviously shows that he had his hands up all the way until going to the ground.
Yeah.
So that's wild.
Yeah, and you know what? I think in these situations, we got to do better. We can't, as law enforcement, you can't use that excuse of, I was afraid or I thought he was about to shoot me. This was a 19-year-old young man. He had a long future, if God willing, a bright future ahead of him. And if you see in the call, as we were reading, said that there was a distraught young man, and that maybe he was contemplating suicide. And so I think that law enforcement should really look into that, psychology piece, having a psychologist come with you on those types of calls so you can properly deal with the situation. You can't just be trigger happy. And I think it's a good thing that we have Chinese or Asian lives matter, because we don't want people to think that Black Lives Matter is just about us. It's not. It's about every minority group. And so it's time out that we have to stand together. Black Lives Matter. We have to stand with the Asian Lives Matter. We have to.
Well, we wouldn't do justice, not just talking about Asian Lives Matter, but this movement has been big, especially up north, and we're bringing it down here. And we want to continue to uplift our brother, Christian Hall. Now, this whole summer would not have been had it not been for the last but not least brother on our list today, our brother George Floyd.
Yes.
George Floyd. If you all didn't know, our next movement here with Justice for the Next Generation, we want to bring attention to the trial for Derek Chauvin, and that trial will be Monday, March 8th.
Yeah.
It's coming close. This police officer right here, who intentionally had his knee on the neck of our brother George Floyd for almost 9 minutes, while George Floyd cried and pled for his mother. Tao's attorney, Robert and Natalie Paul, which was one of the other police officers that were there, they filed a motion in court for a plea deal and asked for negotiations for the judge to actually dismiss the charges of their client. Like, they asked for the charges to be dismissed.
Yeah.
Come on now. The world has been shook.
It just speaks about privilege.
Right.
Like, you had the audacity
to even ask.
The mindset that, they might excuse us. Not this time. Not this time.
So again, Chauvin and these other officers, Chauvin is being indicted or has been brought up on the charges of second-degree murder. It was third, but then it came to second-degree murder.
Yeah.
And in addition to manslaughter, while the other officers are aiding. Yeah. They were aiding
and abetting.
And for this second-degree murder and manslaughter. Both of those sentences by the police officer itself, Chauvin himself, we wanted to let you all know that the minimum sentence is 15 to 20 years or life, right? The minimum sentence is 15 to 20 years. So if he doesn't get at least 15, 20, I mean, we don't want you 15. Look, bro, you're gonna have to get some justice for this.
Yeah, we're gonna march again.
We got to.
We're gonna march again.
They're even stating, the police in Minneapolis, Minnesota, are even stating that they're boarding and protecting the businesses and the community there, because they know that if Chauvin does not get convicted, they're going to set the city on fire.
For sure. It's going to be another massacre. And just because people are angry, you can't keep poking the bear. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say. You can't keep poking the bear. And did y'all hear about about the car that was going around?
Oh my goodness.
God.
In LA?
Yes, the car.
Y'all, in Los Angeles, the police department, for Valentine's Day, we know Valentine's Day is over, y'all loving y'all booze and everything, but in LA, the police department has opened the door for circulating a card that said, "You take my breath away," with the George Floyd picture. Can y'all see that? With George Floyd's picture on it. But they're mocking
his death.
They're mocking this massacre. They're mocking his death. So, and this is all the way in LA.
Bro, that's bold.
So how are we supposed to trust the police?
I mean, it's hard. It's hard in this day and age. You would want to think that, it's 2021. We used to have a black president. People still are in the same mindsets. Right. And to promote change, you got to be the change.
Right.
And so I think that actions should be taken. Like these police officers, if it's the whole department needs to go without pay.
Right.
If not, be fired, because you can't possibly say that you can protect and serve your black people, your black and brown people of LA. and you think that's a mockery. No, not at all.
Even with all these pictures that you are seeing to come across your screen, all this media is happened around the world, and even with Justice for the Next Generation playing a part in it, a large part, especially being influential in our community and our community of world changers, right, of justice seekers. For them to do a card like this, and even for the police not to be prosecuted properly, man, the world is going to be it's going to flip. It's going to flip. So we just want to let you all know that March 8th, be on the lookout. Expectation for the start of these cases. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now concluding our Live at 5 show. But before we go, we want to let you all know a few announcements. We are grateful to let you know, if you didn't know, that the late Honorable Senator John Lewis would be celebrating a birthday tomorrow. His birthday was February 21st, 1940, and this senator, this world-renowned example of black excellence, who was an American politician, statesman, and civil rights activist, who served the United States for the House of Representatives for Georgia's 5th Congressional District from 1987 until his death in 2020. His birthday is tomorrow. And even though he's gone from us, we still want to say happy birthday. Next up, we have a hero's birthday celebration, Tavares Johnson. But in addition to his birthday celebration, we want to make sure that we call out a hero's demand for justice. Our brother Frederick Cox in High Point, North Carolina. This young brother was gunned down for saving the life of Tavares Johnson Jr. And we don't want to forget about you. Rest in paradise, my brother. This event will take place at the Guilford County Courthouse at 11:30 a.m. That will be this Wednesday, February 24th. If you're here in Greensboro at 11:30, come out, show your support.
Come on out.
And let the family know that you are standing with Frederick Cox and you're standing with Tavares Johnson Jr. Lastly but not least, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow is Sunday.
Come on now.
I didn't hear you. Tomorrow is Sunday at 3 p.m. Everyone, we will be going live for our weekly service, our Sunday service. If you need to talk to the Lord, if you need to hear a word from the Lord, our pastor, Reverend Gregory Drumwright, will be giving a word brought to you through the Holy Spirit, from the Holy Spirit to him, to us. You see what I'm saying?
I feel it, yeah.
A word will be given to us so that we and our lives can be changed. So if you need a word from the Lord, if you know somebody that needs a word from the Lord, and if you want to stand in the gap for somebody, come on and join us for service tomorrow at 3 p.m. here. Same channel, different time. Same anointing.
Hallelujah.
We're waiting for God to do some things, and I hope you are too. Ladies and gentlemen, we are grateful for you all watching today's Live at 5, and we want you to know that we haven't forgot about you, and we're going to keep rolling. As justice continues to roll like the rivers of rolling water.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's the best I can do.
I was saying like freedom or something like that.
I tried.
Let freedom reign. It's like it was good.
I too am America. Thank you all for watching, and we hope that you have an amazing day.